Forests are disappearing at an alarming and accelerating global rate. Every second, large areas of trees are permanently cleared worldwide. This destruction is not just local, it is deeply global. Many people underestimate how much forests control Earth's balance. Trees are not just plants, they are life support systems. They regulate climate, store carbon, and protect biodiversity. Without forests, entire ecosystems begin to collapse rapidly. Animals lose their habitats and struggle to survive. Humans also depend on forests more than they realize. Fresh air is directly linked to healthy forest ecosystems. Rivers and rainfall patterns are influenced by forest coverage. When forests shrink, weather systems start becoming unstable. Droughts become more frequent in deforested regions. Flooding increases when trees can no longer absorb rainwater. Soil becomes weak and loses its natural fertility. Agriculture suffers when land is no longer protected by trees. Entire communities are forced to relocate due to land degradation. Deforestation is often driven by human economic activity. Farming expansion is one of the leading causes globally. Logging for timber also contributes heavily to forest loss. Urban development replaces green land with concrete structures. Demand for paper products increases tree cutting rates. Even everyday consumer goods are linked to deforestation. Many supply chains hide the environmental cost of production. People often buy products without knowing their forest impact. This hidden connection makes deforestation harder to stop. Governments struggle to balance economy and environmental protection. Illegal logging worsens the problem in many countries. Forest protection laws exist but are often poorly enforced. Corruption sometimes allows forest destruction to continue unchecked. Indigenous communities are among the first affected groups. They lose ancestral lands that have existed for centuries. Their traditional knowledge of forests is slowly disappearing. Wildlife populations decline sharply in deforested regions. Some species face extinction due to habitat loss. Biodiversity is essential for a stable and healthy planet. Each lost species weakens the ecosystem further. Forests act as Earth's natural carbon storage system. When trees are cut, carbon is released into the air. This increases global warming and climate change effects. Rising temperatures are directly linked to forest destruction. Ice caps melt faster due to increased greenhouse gases. Sea levels rise, threatening coastal cities worldwide. Climate refugees become more common as land becomes unlivable. The cycle of destruction continues unless action is taken. Many people still feel deforestation is a distant problem. In reality, it affects every single person on Earth. The air we breathe is partly shaped by forests. The food we eat depends on stable climate systems. The water we drink is influenced by forest cycles. Forest loss is not just environmental, it is survival-related. Awareness is the first step toward meaningful change. Without awareness, destructive habits continue unnoticed. Education plays a powerful role in changing human behavior. Small individual actions can create large collective impact. Governments alone cannot solve the crisis without public support. Businesses must adopt sustainable and ethical sourcing methods. Technology can help monitor and protect forest regions. Satellite tracking reveals illegal deforestation in real time. Reforestation projects are slowly restoring damaged ecosystems. However, restoration takes decades, not just years. Prevention is always more effective than recovery. The world is at a critical environmental turning point. What happens next depends on human choices today. The story of deforestation is still being written right now. The consequences of deforestation extend far beyond what most people notice. Entire weather systems begin shifting when forests are removed. Rainfall patterns become unpredictable and increasingly extreme. Some regions experience long droughts that last for years. Other areas suffer sudden and destructive floods. This imbalance is directly linked to lost forest cover. Trees play a crucial role in regulating atmospheric moisture. Without them, the water cycle becomes unstable. Farmers are among the first to feel these changes. Crops fail when soil moisture levels drop unexpectedly. Food shortages begin to rise in vulnerable regions. Prices of basic food items increase due to low supply. Hunger becomes a growing issue in affected communities. Forest destruction quietly contributes to global food insecurity. Many people do not connect their meals to forests. Yet agriculture depends heavily on stable environmental systems. Pollinators like bees also suffer from habitat loss. Without pollinators, crop production drops significantly. This creates a chain reaction across global food networks. Forests also protect freshwater resources. When trees disappear, rivers often dry up or become polluted. Communities lose access to clean drinking water. Water scarcity then leads to migration and conflict. Deforestation can even increase the spread of diseases. As wildlife habitats shrink, animals move closer to humans. This increases the risk of zoonotic disease transmission. History has shown how such diseases can spread rapidly. Forest loss also weakens natural disaster protection. Trees act as barriers against storms and strong winds. Without them, storms cause more damage to infrastructure. Economic losses increase after every major environmental disaster. Insurance costs rise in deforested and high-risk areas. Governments spend billions on recovery instead of prevention. Meanwhile, forest ecosystems continue to degrade silently. Carbon emissions rise steadily as more trees are cut. This accelerates the pace of global warming. Scientists warn that we are approaching irreversible tipping points. Once crossed, ecosystem recovery becomes extremely difficult. Some forests may never fully regenerate. This would permanently alter Earth's climate systems. Tropical rainforests are especially important for global stability. They hold some of the richest biodiversity on the planet, yet they are also among the most threatened ecosystems. Large-scale agriculture is rapidly replacing these forests. Palm oil plantations are a major driver of destruction. Logging industries continue to expand into remote areas. Road construction opens previously untouched forest regions. Once roads are built, deforestation accelerates quickly. Accessibility leads to increased exploitation of natural resources. Wildlife corridors become fragmented and isolated. Animals struggle to find food and mates. Genetic diversity declines in small, isolated populations. This increases the risk of extinction for many species. Forests are also vital for cultural and spiritual identity. Many indigenous groups view forests as sacred. Their traditions are deeply tied to the natural environment. When forests disappear, cultural heritage is also lost. This loss is often irreversible and deeply painful. Modern society rarely considers these emotional impacts. The focus remains mostly on economic growth and expansion. But unchecked growth comes with hidden environmental costs. These costs accumulate slowly but become extremely severe over time. The world is already witnessing early warning signs. Ignoring them only makes future consequences worse. The ripple effects of deforestation are now impossible to deny. Human activities remain the primary driver of global deforestation. Economic demand continues to push forests toward destruction. Many industries rely heavily on raw materials from trees. Paper production is one of the most visible contributors. Furniture manufacturing also depends on large-scale logging. Agricultural expansion is another major factor worldwide. Forests are cleared to create land for livestock farming. This increases meat production to meet global demand. Consumer habits indirectly fuel this continuous forest loss. Most people are unaware of their hidden environmental footprint. Every product carries a chain of environmental consequences. Supermarkets rarely show the origin of their raw materials. This lack of transparency hides the truth from consumers. Fast fashion industries also contribute to deforestation pressures. Packaging materials require vast amounts of wood pulp. Even digital industries rely on physical infrastructure affecting land use. Data centers require large spaces and energy resources. Energy production can lead to forest clearing in some regions. Mining activities also destroy vast forested landscapes. Minerals are extracted at the cost of natural ecosystems. Roads and highways fragment untouched forest regions. Once access is created, exploitation quickly follows. Illegal logging networks operate in many parts of the world. These operations often bypass environmental regulations entirely. Weak enforcement allows destruction to continue unchecked. In some areas, forests are cleared overnight illegally. Corruption within systems makes protection even harder. Local authorities sometimes lack resources to enforce laws. Global demand keeps pressure on these vulnerable ecosystems. Developing countries often depend economically on forest exports. This creates a conflict between survival and sustainability. Short-term financial gain often outweighs long-term environmental health. Poverty can push communities to overexploit natural resources. Lack of alternative livelihoods increases dependency on logging. Education about sustainability is still limited in many regions. Without awareness, destructive practices continue for generations. International agreements attempt to reduce deforestation rates. However, implementation remains inconsistent across nations. Some countries make progress, while others fall behind. Global cooperation is essential to address this crisis effectively. Climate policies often include forest protection goals, yet funding for these programs is sometimes insufficient. Corporate responsibility is becoming increasingly important. Some companies are adopting zero deforestation commitments. Others continue harmful practices due to profit pressure. Consumers are slowly becoming more environmentally conscious. Sustainable product labeling is gaining popularity worldwide. Certification systems help identify responsible sourcing practices. Technology is improving forest monitoring and tracking systems. Drones and satellites detect illegal activities in real time. Artificial intelligence helps predict deforestation risks. These innovations offer hope for better forest protection. Social media raises awareness about environmental issues rapidly. Activists use digital platforms to pressure industries and governments. Public opinion is becoming a powerful force for change. Education systems are beginning to include environmental studies. Young generations are more aware of climate challenges. Schools teach the importance of biodiversity and conservation. Community-led forest management shows promising results. Local involvement increases success rates of protection efforts. Reforestation campaigns are growing in many countries. People are planting trees to restore lost ecosystems. However, restoration must match the scale of destruction. Awareness alone is not enough without strong action. Human responsibility remains central to solving deforestation. The fight against deforestation is already gaining global momentum. Governments are introducing stricter environmental protection laws worldwide. Protected forest reserves are expanding in many countries. These reserves help preserve biodiversity and natural ecosystems. International organizations are funding reforestation projects globally. Tree planting initiatives are becoming more widespread each year. Millions of trees are being planted to restore damaged land. However, survival rates of new trees remain a critical concern. Proper care and long-term maintenance are essential for success. Sustainable forestry practices are replacing destructive logging methods. Selective cutting helps reduce environmental damage significantly. Recycled wood products reduce pressure on natural forests. Paper recycling programs are expanding in urban areas. Many companies are shifting toward environmentally friendly packaging solutions. Alternatives like bamboo and hemp are gaining popularity. These materials grow faster and reduce forest dependency. Certification systems ensure responsible forest product sourcing. Consumers can now choose sustainably labeled products. This creates market pressure for ethical business practices. Education campaigns are increasing environmental awareness globally. Schools and universities promote conservation-focused learning. Environmental NGOs are working directly with local communities. Indigenous knowledge is being recognized as valuable for conservation. Community forests are managed by local residents effectively. This approach increases accountability and protection success. Technology plays a powerful role in forest conservation. Satellite imagery tracks illegal deforestation in real time. Mobile apps allow reporting of environmental violations instantly. Artificial intelligence predicts high-risk deforestation zones. Data analysis helps governments make informed decisions. Drone surveillance improves monitoring in remote forest areas. Restoration ecology is helping rebuild damaged ecosystems. Scientists study how to recreate natural forest balance. Native species are prioritized in reforestation projects. Biodiversity restoration takes time and careful planning. Climate agreements encourage global cooperation on forests. Countries commit to reducing carbon emissions collectively. Forest conservation is a key part of climate strategies. Financial incentives are offered for protecting forests. Carbon credit systems reward countries for preservation efforts. Green economy models promote sustainable development. Businesses are encouraged to reduce environmental footprints. Consumers are shifting toward environmentally responsible choices. Social movements are pressuring corporations for change. Environmental activism is growing stronger every year. Campaigns led by young people are spreading awareness rapidly. Documentaries highlight the urgency of forest protection. Media coverage increases global understanding of deforestation. Community engagement is essential for long-term success. Local participation ensures better protection outcomes. Conservation groups led by women are making significant impact. Traditional ecological knowledge supports modern conservation efforts. Urban tree planting improves city environments significantly. Green infrastructure reduces pollution and heat effects. Governments invest in sustainable land use planning. Restoration projects focus on degraded landscapes. Wetlands and mangroves are also being restored globally. Ecosystem restoration improves climate resilience. Financial institutions are supporting green investments. Sustainable development goals include forest protection targets. Collaboration between nations is becoming more important. Shared responsibility is key to global environmental health. Progress is visible but still not fast enough. Every solution requires commitment and consistency. The world is slowly building defenses against deforestation. The future of Earth's forests is still not fully decided. Every action taken today shapes tomorrow's environmental reality. If destruction continues, ecosystems will face irreversible damage. But if action increases, recovery is still possible. Forests have an incredible ability to regenerate over time. Nature can heal when given protection and space. The key is stopping damage faster than restoration efforts begin. Global awareness is higher now than ever before. People are beginning to understand environmental interconnectedness. Small daily choices can influence large global outcomes. Choosing sustainable products reduces pressure on forests. Reducing paper waste helps conserve valuable tree resources. Supporting eco-friendly brands encourages responsible production. Planting even a single tree contributes to long-term recovery. Community participation strengthens environmental protection efforts. Governments must enforce stronger anti-deforestation laws. Industries must transition toward sustainable supply chains. Education must continue spreading environmental awareness. Future generations depend on today's decisions. Forests are essential for clean air and water systems. They are also vital for climate stability worldwide. Protecting forests means protecting human survival itself. Without forests, life on Earth becomes far more fragile. Reforestation projects must expand at a much larger scale. Technology should continue supporting conservation efforts. Innovation can help balance development and sustainability. International cooperation is essential for real progress. No country can solve deforestation alone. Shared responsibility creates stronger global impact. Environmental policies must be enforced consistently everywhere. Economic growth should never destroy natural ecosystems. Sustainability must become a global priority. Awareness must turn into meaningful action. Passive concern is not enough anymore. Every individual has a role to play. Even small habits can create large environmental change. Recycling and reusing reduce demand for raw materials. Conscious consumption protects forest resources. Supporting conservation groups strengthens their mission. Speaking out increases public pressure for change. The planet responds to collective human behavior. Positive change is already happening in many regions. Success stories show that recovery is possible. Degraded lands are slowly becoming green again. Wildlife populations are returning in protected areas. Ecosystems begin to rebuild when given time. Hope remains strong if action continues. The battle against deforestation is not yet lost. It is a defining challenge of our generation. How we respond will define Earth's future. Forests are more than resources, they are life systems. Protecting them protects every living being. The planet's health depends on forest survival. Humanity stands at a critical crossroads. One path leads to destruction and imbalance, the other leads to restoration and harmony. The choice is collective and urgent. Time is not unlimited for action. Every delay increases the scale of the crisis. But every effort also brings hope for recovery. The story of forests is still being written by us. Future generations will judge today's decisions. Change is possible, but it requires commitment now. The Earth is waiting for responsible action. The fight against deforestation begins and ends with humanity.